Hi all, it's JK here. Sorry it's been a while, but I've been super busy, mainly detailing all my cars ready for the winter. So I've been clay barring, polish, cutting and obviously waxing. My Land Cruiser, I spent over 30 hours doing that, and in the end I couldn't do the roof because I thought it was pointless to clay bar the roof because nobody can see it. So all I did was I polished it, I waxed it, and I've left the wax on the roof as well because birds sit on the roof, they crap all over the roof, so I thought may as well leave the wax on. Tyre Pressure Management System. Getting to it from the menu here, you hit the car button and hit the car button again and again until the car appears, and then it should appear there, I think, if I remember right. Let's have a look. I'm just cruising around Nottingham at the minute. It's actually been ages since I've been in this car. So we'll just try the car button again. Nope, it's not that. That's going on about stop start for some reason. Don't normally do that. Interesting. Okay, let's go into Nottingham while we're at it. Just have to see what's going on in Nottingham. It's a Sunday night. The past few times I've driven in Nottingham, there's been some awesome cars on the road. Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Aston Martins. And the whole time I was in my Land Cruiser. So the other night I was out and there was a guy in an R8 in Netherfield and he launched it from the light. So I don't know if that's because he saw me or what, but yeah, that was interesting. I've just basically come from Nottingham Station dropping the mate off, so and I'm enjoying a coffee while I'm at it, so cheers. Well, that's interesting because I went on this car the other day and now it's in setup. So you're in the car menu, then you go into setup and you click on tyres. And it's asking me there to set the tyre pressure loss indicator. So you hit set. All my tyres have got 40 pounds of pressure in it at the minute. So then you confirm whether or not it's got the tyre pressure in it. And whether you're happy with those settings. I am, so I'll click yes. Let's head into town. So yeah, I'm happy at that. So now what I've done is I've set the tyre pressure, and in my tyres, as per the dealer, there's 40 pounds of pressure in each tyre. Not sure if that's too much pressure or what, but it's difficult for me because I didn't think my tyre pressures were working. Sensor was working, and what I might do is get further out of town, and once I start heading back towards Mansfield, I'll pull over somewhere and let a load of air out the tyre. Now I spoke to somebody and what he says is what should happen is once the tyre pressure system realises there's less than, I think he said 10%, I think it's 10% pressure, then it shows on the center console here warning you that there's a tyre pressure set. Now I've seen people on the internet saying that the problem with the system is it doesn't tell you which wheel is the offending wheel, which tyre is the one that's got the least pressure in it. But my friend who drives a Touran, he says it does show you the wheel where the pressure problem is. So we'll see, we'll test that in a minute. But yeah, I've now set the pressure. Now the thing about that is, right, it's important because it's an MOT failure if your tyre pressure sensor isn't working. Now if you remember, when I took delivery of this car, I thought that the tyre pressure system wasn't working, and I took it into the dealer, gave her the key, and she says, alright, we'll have a look at it. Anyway, about half an hour later she gave me the key back and said, yeah, it's alright now. So I got in the car, looked at the tyre pressure menu, and it was exactly the same, nothing changed. So I thought, well, in that case it must have already been working. But my initial thought was, well, even if it doesn't work, it doesn't bother me because the people that are using it seem to complain. They seem to say, well, the main problem with it is it seems to kick in a lot when you're driving and it needs resetting. And that's the other problem as well. Once the tyre pressure does go beneath threshold, you have to pull over, reinflate the tyre obviously, but then once you have reinflated the tyre, you have to come back to this menu and reset it. Otherwise it just comes up with the error message still, and I think that's personally is crap, but you know, that's just my opinion on it. But I think other people have agreed. They're saying once you put the tyre back in again, it should really reset the system itself. So yeah. There's a Shell garage there. I filled up with, that's another thing, I'm running on Shell V-Power Nitro Plus at the minute. And again, I'm not really noticing a difference. I drove to North Yorkshire a couple of weeks ago, and it's a shame because I filmed it and it was an awesome video, but I didn't realise my action camera battery was totally flat, which is weird. So I took a mate out, we went around the Yorkshire Dales in North Yorkshire and had a good time, and it was going to be a reaction video, and unfortunately didn't film it. But that trip, including to and from the Shell garage in Ollerton and the thrash around the Dales, it achieved 36 miles to the gallon. And at the minute you can see I'm also using part auto hold, but as you can see at the minute I'm achieving 32 miles to the gallon. So now I don't know, because when I was running on regular, if you remember, I was getting 28 miles to the gallon. I don't know if that's the fuel or what, because if you remember, that was the engine bedding in. So it'd be interesting to do another test with regular fuel versus V Nitro Plus. But ultimately though, where power is concerned and torque, I haven't noticed a difference. It feels the same to me. It doesn't tick over any smoother. But I spoke to my friend last night, he came round, we played GTA, and he was saying he personally would always put V-Power in his, and he's got a Subaru Impreza running at 500 brake, so we'll see. But yeah, getting back to the topic, tyre pressure management software. If, like me, you thought there was a fault with it and you're not bothered because, well, so what? It's a legal requirement to have it. And what that means is it'll fail its MOT if you haven't got a working tyre pressure sensor. And also, they ain't cheap. I got talking to a mechanic the other day as I was getting my Land Cruiser tyres fitted, because I bought 4 new tyres. And he was saying to me, the reason we got into the conversation is because he was moaning. He was saying he just bought a new Focus and the tyre pressure sensor kept going off. So he had to keep going into Selector Tyre and getting them checked. And he was saying to me that, I said to him, I don't have that problem because it's faulty, so I'm not bothered. And he said, well, if it is faulty, it's 150 quid to get it fixed. So if it is faulty, mate, he said, get your dealer on it, because it's not going to be cheap to fix it, and they're legally required. Now the thing is, right, I was a bit annoyed because when I bought this car, the dealer didn't tell me that. He didn't say the tyre pressure management system was a legal requirement, and that, you know, they do fail over time. So regardless of what happens in the future, when the car is old, you're going to be spending money sooner or later on a valve sensor. Admittedly, you can get aftermarket ones, this mechanic was telling me, as cheap as 100 quid, but they're a bit unreliable, so, you know, it's bollocks. So yeah, that's the main thing. The tyre pressure management is a legal requirement, and yeah, make sure if it is faulty, make sure you get your dealer to fix it under warranty, because I was just ignoring it. I didn't realise it was important. I think it's just a waste of legislation, but there you go. But what we're going to do now is, right, so I've discussed how to set it. So that again is you hit the car menu button, yeah? So, and you keep scanning through the car menu until the car shows, right? And then you hit setup, and then you hit tyres, and that's how you set the tyre pressure. Obviously you have to fill your tyres up first. Now I'm not sure what the tyre pressure should be, obviously it's going to be on the door, but what I can tell you is the dealer put £40 in each tyre on this, so and that's what I'm going to keep it at. And they're solid. I checked them the other night and they haven't lost any air. Also I'm using auto hold, that's a good feature. You may as well use it because apparently it saves the DSG clutch from slipping. I didn't know that. So basically if you're on an incline, it automatically applies the handbrake for you. Whereas what I was doing was, I was treating it as a normal automatic, where when it's on an incline, obviously drive takes over. But apparently, on the VW forums, that burns out your DSG clutch. So use auto hold basically, just leave it on. That's another tip for you. Yeah. Oh yeah, and the other thing is, I went to Chesterfield the other day on the M1, and they finished doing the smart motorway. So if you have got your R and you're not used to it, how fast it is, be very careful, because I've spoken to a few people now, and now the speed cameras are live. A lot of people who have never had points before on the licence, they've been done. Again, that mechanic I spoke to, he had the same thing happen to him. He went from Nottingham to Chesterfield via the M1, and for the first time in his life he got 6 points on his licence because he was doing 79 miles an hour through the barriers, and the stripes are on the floor, but you don't see the speed cameras. Apparently they're in the barriers, and yeah, he got done. So be careful, beware of that. Stick to 70 mile an hour basically. That's the one criticism I've got of adaptive cruise control. I think it should work closely with your sat nav so that the speed also changes. So if 1 minute you're in a 70 and then the next minute you're in a 50, I think ACC should adapt accordingly. To my knowledge, it doesn't do that. So I mean, I've not needed it to do that, but you know, the way things are going, where there's speed cameras everywhere and they're getting stricter, you know, it used to be 10% allowance, now it isn't. It would be, ACC is losing its value where, you know, particularly on the M1 and the A1 as well, A1M, 1 minute you're doing 70, then it's a 50, and they're enforced by speed cameras. And if you leave your ACC on, it just merrily ticks over doing 70. So you have to be careful. I wish ACC worked closer with the sat-nav, so that's a criticism of ACC. The other thing I'll go over while we're at it is a lot of friendly people have been getting back to me about my 5 things I hate video. And the main criticism was the front assist, which is the emergency brake system, which, as you all know, if you saw that video, pees me off, can be switched off. What you do is you go into your assistance systems menu, go into that, and then somewhere in there should be, let's go back into it, up and down, yeah, front assist, right? You see front assist, you just click on it, and there you go, front assist deactivated. Now, I've had people on forums having horror stories where they're going on about they're driving along, they're in the 4th lane of a motorway and it's clear, and then all of a sudden the assist came on for no reason. I don't know if that's true or not, because, well, you know, it could be that they aren't cleaning the car properly and that they're not keeping the radar sensors clean, I don't know. But if ever you do want to switch it off, that's how you do it. Now, the other thing is, what I think will happen is, if I turn the car off and on again, it will come back on. So if I put in park, oh, fucking typical. Has it come back on again now? Well, look, yeah, front assist comes back on again when you turn the car off. So that's my argument, you see. It's alright, people saying, oh, you can switch off auto stop start and you can switch off this and you can switch off that. Yeah, that's fine, right? That's fine, that's great. But what if you don't want to keep switching it all off again when you turn the car off and back on again? That's my whole point. And that's my main beef with this car. It's the fact that you turn off all these systems, you know, you turn off auto stop start, you turn off, what's it called, front assist. And yeah, great. As soon as you turn the car off and on again, you're back to square one. You've got to turn it all off again. Now, people miss that point, and that's the point I'm making now. But the thing is, I've had people say, well, if you get the stage 1 done, you can get APR or Revo or whatever tuner you get to do your stage 1 remap, you can get them to switch off those features permanently. That's the thing. The other thing is kickback or kick down or whatever the hell it's called. I don't really give a toss getting the name right. It's if you put your foot flat down, apparently there's an extra switch and you feel it as well when you put your foot down. Now me, I'm not the most observant person in the world, so I didn't realise that. I didn't realise that when you plant your foot flat down, you're actually triggering another switch, which then triggers kick down or whatever. So that can be disabled again with the stage tune, I think people were saying. But I've managed to live with it. I've managed to, now I realise that it's a case of, you know, getting used to it. And, you know, like I said, it does solve the block gearbox problem, gear change problem. So, yeah, it is needed, really, with the SG, because you can't go from 6th to 3rd like that. And that's what kickback does. It does that for you. So, yeah, you know, fair enough. That's that, innit? Just that that's part of the involvement, I guess, I miss, where, you know, clutch in, boom, 3rd gear. But you know, that's that. So yeah, it can be switched off. All you do is you either take it to a tuner and they stop it, or you can put something physically so the pedal doesn't even go that far down to the floor, because apparently you hit maximum throttle way before that point anyway.